The galaxy had many dangerous worlds, but none carried the same fear as Earth. Most alien species whispered its name with worry, and legends said humans were unpredictable, aggressive, and terrifying when pushed. But the Empire, the largest military power in the Orion Arm, believed all those stories were lies. They called humans weak, slow to advance, and easy to conquer. And when warnings started spreading across the galactic network, the Empire simply laughed. The story began when a small scout ship called Rollick 7 returned from a routine mapping mission near the Sol system. The ship looked damaged, like it had survived something powerful, and the few surviving crew members were shaking. Admiral Vikros, commander of the Imperial fleet, demanded a report. But when the trembling scout captain spoke, he said only one sentence. "Do not go to Earth, it's a trap." Admiral Vikros laughed in his face. To him, humans were nothing but a primitive level C species, far below galactic standard. He thought the crew was lying, maybe hiding a mistake or failure. He even punished them for spreading fear without reason. But secretly, something bothered him, a small feeling he couldn't explain. The scout captain wasn't the only one warning. Signals from trade routes, whispers from fringe colonies, and even encrypted messages from neutral species all said the same thing. Earth was not sleeping, Earth was preparing, Earth was not weak. But the Empire ignored every message. Far away on Earth, humans were already watching. They had detected the Empire's long-range probes and hidden drones. Earth's secret defense system, Project Sentinel, tracked every movement from orbit. And in the shadows of the moon, something massive was waking up. A fleet the galaxy believed humans could never build. But the Empire didn't know this. They believed humans couldn't even leave their own planet without help. But humanity had been hiding their true strength for decades. Their technology, their weapons, their fleets, all hidden behind deception and silence. Now it was too late for anyone to stop what was coming. The Empire sent a larger investigation ship, the cruiser Vorik Prime. Its crew laughed when they approached Earth. They expected to see a weak world, a small blue dot ruled by creatures with basic technology. But as they reached Earth's orbit, every star around them seemed to flicker. The sensors detected strange distortions, and the ship's pilot frowned. "Admiral, something is wrong," he said. But the Admiral didn't care. The ship moved forward, engines humming. Suddenly, every alarm in the cruiser exploded with sound. The ship shook as if something enormous had grabbed it. The crew started shouting. "Unidentified gravitational field. Multiple energy signatures. We are being scanned by something powerful." The Admiral's face finally changed from pride to fear. Then a massive shadow appeared behind the moon. At first, they thought it was an asteroid or old debris. But as it moved forward, the truth became clear. A colossal human warship, unlike anything ever seen before, slowly revealed itself. Black armor, glowing blue lines, and engines that looked like a star trapped inside metal. The ship didn't fire, didn't attack, didn't speak. It only scanned them with a cold, calculated precision. The Admiral felt something he had never felt before. Fear. Real fear. The Empire had ignored all warnings. They believed humans were nothing. But now, standing in the shadow of Earth's hidden war machine, they understood the truth. Earth was not a weak world. Earth was a trap. And they had walked right into it. The giant human warship sent a message. But not in voice. Instead, the Empire's cruiser lights shut off, the engines powered down, and every system went dark. Earth had taken control of the entire ship with a single silent pulse. The Admiral's hands shook. The warnings were real. The trap was real. And now, it was too late. This was only the beginning. Because humanity had been waiting. And the Empire had just triggered something they could not escape. Something far bigger than a warning. Something that would shake the galaxy. The Imperial cruiser Vorik Prime drifted helplessly in Earth's orbit. All lights were off, engines were frozen, and every system had been locked down by an invisible human signal. Inside the dark ship, the crew panicked, trying every command they knew. Nothing worked. It was as if an unseen hand held the entire cruiser by the throat. Admiral Vikros stared at the black window where the massive human warship floated silently. It didn't move, didn't threaten, didn't speak. But its presence alone was enough to crush the pride of the Empire. He had mocked the warnings, laughed at the fear of other species, and dismissed the scout captain's report. Now, face to face with Earth's hidden power, he finally understood how wrong he had been. The crew continued to scream. "Sir, communications are dead. Sir, our weapons won't respond. Sir, life support is under external control." Every voice trembled. For the first time, the mighty Empire felt powerless. Then, a single line of text blinked across every screen in the ship. "Do not come closer." There was no voice, no signature, no identification. Just that silent warning. A warning far colder than any weapon. Admiral Vikros swallowed hard. He had led countless battles, conquered dozens of planets, broken rebellions with a single order. But nothing had prepared him for this. This wasn't a declaration of war. It was a quiet reminder that Earth was not prey. It was a hunter waiting in the dark. The admiral ordered the crew to retreat. But the ship still wouldn't move. The engines didn't respond, the thrusters stayed frozen, and the navigation system kept looping in error. It felt like Earth was deciding whether to let them go or break them. Suddenly, another message appeared. This time longer. You entered restricted space. You ignored multiple warnings. You are now inside Earth's defense grid. The admiral felt his chest tighten. Defense grid. He turned slowly to his tactical officer. Are they saying this entire region around Earth is controlled? The officer only nodded nervously. Sir, whatever technology they are using, it's beyond anything in the Empire. A shockwave rippled through space. Not an explosion, not a weapon. But a distortion, like the universe itself had been pulled and twisted. The crew looked through the windows and gasped. New shapes appeared in the darkness, one after another. Dozens of them. No, hundreds. Earth's fleet was waking up. Colossal human ships, silent and deadly, uncloaked around the moon. Some were shaped like floating fortresses, others like long black spears, and some were massive carriers with glowing blue engines that hummed with strange energy. The entire Imperial crew stood frozen in disbelief. Humans weren't supposed to have this kind of technology. They weren't supposed to build warships like these. It went against everything the Empire knew. Admiral Vikros stepped back, breathing heavily. His pride shattered. The Empire had underestimated a species that had evolved under constant threat. Wars, disasters, harsh worlds, and endless survival challenges had shaped humanity into something the galaxy didn't understand. A species that didn't give up, didn't break, and didn't show their true strength until forced. A third message flashed across the screens. Do not return with hostile intent. Earth will defend itself. Leave now. But the ship still didn't move. Earth wasn't done yet. Something else was coming, something even more terrifying. The giant human warship, the first one they saw, slowly activated a row of glowing symbols along its hull. It was preparing something. But what? The admiral pressed his hands against the glass, staring in disbelief. Blue energy gathered around the human vessel like a storm forming inside a metal beast. The crew began shouting again. Unknown energy spike. It's targeting us. Admiral, we need to escape. But no one could do anything. The energy pulse exploded, but not like a weapon. It didn't destroy. Instead, it scanned. A massive wave of light passed through the Imperial cruiser, entering every system, every chip, every line of data. When it ended, the cruiser's screens lit up again, but now showing something horrifying. Earth had copied everything. Every map, every blueprint, every secret, every communication log. The Empire's entire military data had been absorbed in seconds. The Admiral's heart sank. Earth now knew everything about the Empire. Every weakness, every strength, every hidden weapon. This was not an act of defense. It was a silent declaration. A message to the Empire's rulers. We see you. We know you. Don't try this again. Finally, the engines unlocked. The cruiser shook alive, lights flickering, systems rebooting. Earth had chosen to let them live. But not out of mercy. Out of confidence. A confidence more terrifying than any weapon. Admiral Vikros collapsed into his chair, breathing hard as the ship slowly pulled away from Earth's orbit. Behind him, the human fleet remained perfectly silent, perfectly still, watching like predators who no longer needed to chase their prey. As the cruiser turned and prepared for faster-than-light travel, a final message appeared on the screen. A message that froze the blood of every Imperial soldier. There will be no second warning. The Admiral closed his eyes. He finally understood. The Empire had awakened something far greater than a primitive species. They had awakened Earth. And there was no going back. The moment the Imperial cruiser jumped into faster-than-light travel, silence filled the bridge. No one spoke, not even the Admiral. Every crew member sat stiff, sweating, shaken by what they had seen near Earth. Human ships, human technology, human power. None of it matched what the Empire taught them. None of it matched the old reports of Earth being weak or primitive. The Admiral stared at the stars stretching into long glowing lines as the ship moved through hyperspace. But his mind was still trapped back in Earth's orbit. Trapped in the shadow of that massive human warship. Trapped in the feeling of being watched by something ancient and awakened. When the cruiser finally arrived at the Imperial capital, the entire fleet command gathered in the hangar. More than 50 high-ranking officers, generals, and scholars rushed forward. They had been alerted by the panic code sent from the cruiser before it entered hyperspace. They expected damage, injured crew, maybe an ambush. But they did not expect what they saw on the crew's faces. It was fear. Pure, unfiltered, uncontrollable fear. Something no one in the Empire had seen in centuries. The officers called an emergency meeting. The Admiral was forced to walk straight into the Grand Chamber without rest. The walls were covered with shining banners, glowing symbols, and golden statues of past victories. Victories that now felt meaningless. He stood before the Council of the Empire, the most powerful beings in their entire civilization. Counselor Arvok, the strictest among them, slammed his staff on the ground. Report, he demanded. Explain why your entire crew looks terrified. The Admiral opened his mouth, but no words came. How could he explain something the Empire didn't believe? How could he describe a warship that looked like a floating city? How could he admit that Earth, yes, Earth, had disabled an entire Imperial cruiser with one silent signal? He took a deep breath and began. Earth has technology far beyond our predictions. A hidden fleet. Dozens, no, hundreds of powerful warships. The council members exchanged confused looks. Some laughed. Some whispered. One of them leaned forward. Admiral, are you joking? But the Admiral's trembling eyes showed the truth. The Empire knew he had never shown fear before. Not even during the Blood Nebula Wars. Not even when entire star systems burned under enemy fire. So when they saw him struggle to speak, they finally realized something was truly wrong. He continued. They scanned our entire ship in one pulse. They copied all our data. They know everything. Silence fell like a hammer. Even the counselors stopped breathing for a moment. The Empire depended on information, secrecy, military codes. Now all of it belonged to Earth. Counselor Arvok frowned. You said they had a fleet. How large? The admiral closed his eyes, remembering the terrifying scene. Too large. Too advanced. And completely hidden until we entered their space. Counselor Marin, the smartest tactical mind in the Empire, leaned forward. Why would Earth hide such power? What are they planning? The admiral shook his head slowly. Defense, he whispered. They warned us. They only acted because we entered their space with weapons ready. The council chamber erupted into arguments. Some shouted that Earth must be conquered immediately. Others demanded a diplomatic mission. A few even suggested cutting off all travel toward the Sol system forever. Fear twisted through them like a cold wind. A fear the Empire was not ready to admit. Meanwhile, in a distant observation deck above the council, younger officers watched the debate. These officers had grown up believing the Empire was invincible. But now, hearing that Earth, a world they mocked, held power beyond imagination, they felt their confidence crumble. Word spread quickly across the capital. Within hours, every corner of the Imperial City buzzed with rumors. Earth has superweapons. Earth has a hidden armada. Earth took control of one of our cruisers. Fear traveled faster than light. Across military academies, research labs, marketplaces, and starports, everyone whispered the same thing. The Empire had awakened a sleeping giant. But the most dangerous reaction came from the military leaders. Some felt threatened. Some felt angry. Some wanted revenge. And among them was General Kovar, leader of the Empire's most brutal fleet. A man who saw fear as weakness and strength as the only truth. He slammed his fist onto the strategy table as he watched the Admiral's testimony. Earth thinks they can scare us. We will crush them. We will teach them what the Empire does to those who humiliate us. But his second-in-command, a calm and intelligent officer named Sira, stepped forward. General, if Earth truly has this level of technology, we might be walking into a trap. General Kovar growled. Then we will crush the trap too. Across the stars, far from the Empire's capital, Earth watched everything with cold precision. Project Sentinel intercepted every message leaving the Imperial cruiser before it reached home. Human analysts studied every reaction, every argument, every council order. Because Earth knew exactly what would happen next. The Empire would not back down. Their pride would not allow it. Their arrogance would push them towards something far more dangerous. A second encounter. A bigger fleet. A full confrontation. Earth's hidden warships began to shift position. Their engines hummed, their shields glowed faintly, and their weapons warmed in silence. Humanity didn't want war. But if the Empire returned, Earth was ready. More ready than the galaxy could ever imagine. The Empire did not sleep that night. The great capital glowed with restless lights, frantic movements, and emergency discussions. Every military hall, every research center, every command room echoed with one name. Earth. A planet they once mocked now haunted their thoughts like a silent shadow. General Kovar stood at the center of the Imperial War Chamber. The large holographic galaxy map floated around him, showing sectors, fleets, and battle routes. His jaw was tight, his eyes burning with anger. He refused to believe that Earth could be stronger than the Empire. To him, fear was an illusion. Pride was truth. War was the only language he respected. He slammed his fist onto the glowing table. We launch an attack. Earth humiliated us. They made us look weak. Dozens of officers nodded nervously. Not because they agreed. But because they feared disobeying him. General Kovar commanded the Titan Spear Fleet, the most feared force in the Empire. Hundreds of warships, thousands of pilots, millions of soldiers. A fleet known for conquering entire star systems in days. Sira, his second-in-command, stepped forward slowly. She was intelligent, calm, and respected across the empire. But even she trembled as she spoke. "General, Earth warned us. Maybe we should send diplomats, not weapons." Kovar's eyes turned sharp. "Weakness," he hissed. "Earth is bluffing. No species hides advanced ships without using them. They are afraid." But deep inside, Sira felt something different. Not fear of Earth, but fear of what the Empire was becoming. Arrogant, blind, and dangerously predictable. Still, she followed her orders. The Titan Spear fleet was summoned. Massive ships launched from planetary docks, engines glowing like newborn stars. Destroyers, cruisers, carriers, and dreadnoughts lined up in perfect formation. More than anything Earth had ever seen. Or so they believed. Across the galaxy, Earth watched every movement. Project Sentinel tracked the Empire's fleet size, routes, and speed with perfect accuracy. Human analysts sat calmly around their own holographic map inside a hidden bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Their screens glowed with Imperial transmissions, encrypted codes, and real-time fleet positions. "Is it confirmed?" Commander Reyes asked quietly. A young analyst nodded. "Yes, sir. The Empire is sending their Titan Spear fleet." Reyes didn't flinch. He only whispered. "They're coming." Just as predicted. Earth wasn't afraid. Because humanity had spent decades preparing for exactly this moment. The hidden warships orbiting behind the moon adjusted their positions. The colossal flagship Eclipse Zero activated its core systems. Its engines glowed brighter, sending waves of blue light across the dark space. Far away, the Empire's fleet jumped into hyperspace. The stars stretched, space twisted, and a storm of light swallowed the entire formation. General Kovar stood at the bridge of his massive dreadnought, smiling proudly. "We will show the galaxy that Earth is nothing. We will burn their defenses. We will remind them who rules the stars." But Sira felt something wrong. Something heavy. Something cold. As if the universe itself was holding its breath. The fleet exited hyperspace near the Sol system. Sensors immediately went wild. Alarm after alarm, red warning after red warning, filled the bridge. No one understood what was happening. Sira looked at the readings and felt her heart freeze. "General," she whispered. "The space around Earth, it's different. This is not natural." A thick wall of static energy surrounded the Sol system, like an invisible barrier. Every scan bounced back, distorted and shaking. The Empire had never seen anything like it. It was as if Earth rewrote the laws of space around itself. General Kovar snarled. "Push through. They cannot stop us." But as the fleet moved forward, the stars began to bend. The navigation systems glitched. The engines flickered. And a strange pressure pulled on the ships as if gravity itself had changed. "General," Sira shouted. "We are entering some kind of trap." But it was too late. One by one, the Imperial ships fell out of formation, drifting like broken toys. Their engines sputtered, their shields flickered, their weapons froze. The entire Titan Spear fleet was being slowed, bent, and pulled apart by something invisible. Then Sira saw it. A massive hologram formed in front of their fleet. A human figure, calm, emotionless, projected across space. No weapons, no threats. Just presence. A presence more terrifying than any weapon. A human voice echoed inside every Imperial ship. Clear, cold, and controlled. "You were warned." General Kovar growled at the hologram. "Earth will fall. We are the Empire." The hologram didn't move. Didn't flinch. Didn't show fear. It simply replied. "You came to destroy. We came to protect. And now, you will see the truth." The space behind Earth lit up. Dozens of warships uncloaked. Then hundreds. Then thousands. A fleet so massive that it looked like stars being born in the void. Sira stepped back in shock. Her voice barely a whisper. This is impossible. General Kovar's smile finally disappeared. His pride broke. His confidence shattered. For the first time in his life, he felt true fear. Humanity had not shown their full strength before. This was their real power. A power the galaxy was never meant to see. And Earth spoke once more. You will not conquer us. You will not threaten us. And you will not survive this path. The human fleet advanced. Weapons glowing like the cores of newborn suns. Earth wasn't attacking yet. But the message was clear. If the Empire continued, the galaxy would tremble. And the Empire would fall. The Empire's Titan spear fleet hung frozen in space. Not because their engines had failed. Not because they were damaged. But because fear had crushed every voice on every ship. Before them, Earth's true armada stretched across the dark void like a rising storm. Human warships, thousands of them, each glowing with silent blue energy, stood in perfect formation. Not chaotic, not rushed. Precise, controlled, terrifyingly calm. It looked less like a fleet and more like a celestial wall built to block the Empire from ever taking a single step closer. General Kovar, once so proud, felt his throat tighten as he stepped toward the viewing window of his dreadnought. His hands trembled, his pulse raced. The Empire's greatest warrior could not understand what he was seeing. Earth was never supposed to have this level of power. This level of unity. This level of silence. Silence more dangerous than any weapon. Sira, standing beside him, whispered softly. General, we cannot win. Her voice was not weak. Not afraid. Just painfully honest. Kovar growled but couldn't speak. His eyes locked onto the largest human vessel approaching them. It dwarfed every ship in his fleet. A titanic flagship with shimmering armor, glowing engines, and a symbol etched across its hull. A single blue ring surrounding a white star. The emblem of Earth's unified defense. The symbol of a species that had not just survived, they had evolved. Not through peace. But through hardship. Struggle. Pain. And resilience. The hologram of the human commander reappeared. Now larger, clearer, more defined. A calm man in a dark uniform, eyes sharp as a blade. He looked at the entire Empire's fleet as if they were nothing more than lost children. You crossed into our home, the human said. You ignored every warning. You came with weapons, pride, and arrogance. Every Imperial officer listened in stunned terror. Even Kovar could not interrupt. The human voice continued, cold but controlled. We are not your enemy. But we will not bend. We will not bow. And we will not allow our people to be threatened. Then he raised a hand. And the space around Earth changed. Not visually. Not with lights or beams. But with a vibration that every Imperial ship felt through its hull. It was a message. A silent demonstration. A reminder. Earth could tear the fleet apart if it wanted. But it didn't. Not yet. General Kovar gritted his teeth. We are the Empire, he growled. We do not step back. The human commander didn't blink. He simply said. The Empire ends if it continues this path. A shock ran through the Titan spear fleet. Sira felt it like ice down her spine. Kovar stumbled backward. Not physically hit. But emotionally crushed. Earth wasn't threatening them. Earth was stating a fact. A calm, cold, terrifying fact. One of Kovar's officers shouted. General, our ships are losing power again. Something is draining our cores. Sira checked the scans and froze. It's not a weapon, she whispered. It's their presence. The energy field from their fleet is overwhelming our systems. Earth didn't need to fire. Its technology alone was enough to humiliate the Empire. Enough to break them without a single missile. Enough to show them their place. The human fleet slowly spread apart, making a path, a corridor of silence, leading away from Earth. A path that pointed one way only. Retreat. The hologram spoke one last time. Leave now. And do not return with violence. And then, for the first time in the entire confrontation, the human commander's expression changed. Not anger. Not pride. But something deeper. Something almost painful. We do not want war. But we will end it if forced. The message faded. The corridor of space glowed softly. A warning. A mercy. A final chance. General Kovar tried to speak. Words caught in his throat. The image of humanity's silent armada burned into his memory. He had marched toward Earth expecting weakness, but found a fortress of unimaginable strength. Finally, he lowered his head. A gesture no one in the Empire had ever seen from him. Turn the fleet around, he commanded quietly. No more deaths today. His voice cracked. Not from fear, but from realization. From the weight of his mistakes. Sira nodded slowly and issued the order. One by one, the Empire's mighty ships turned away. They drifted through the corridor of human warships, passing tens of thousands of silent giants. Each one watching them. Each one reminding them that this was only mercy, not weakness. The Empire's fleet jumped into hyperspace, retreating like wounded beasts, leaving behind the world they had tried to conquer. On Earth, the human fleet powered down. The glowing weapons dimmed. The engines cooled. The warships returned to silent watch. Earth was safe. But not resting. Not fully. Because humanity knew something the Empire did not yet understand. The galaxy had changed. A new balance had formed. And Earth was no longer a forgotten world on the edge of space. It was a power. A warning. A force the galaxy would never underestimate again. And far in the distance, on the Imperial Dreadnought, General Kovar whispered the truth to himself. A truth he would never forget. Earth is not a trap. Earth is a storm.